Hi, I'm John from Launch, small business legal services done differently. One of the things we get asked a lot from business owners is what can they pay attention to as they're getting started or as they're moving through their business life cycle in order to avoid some risks, some things that might come up often that are avoidable if you're looking out for them and paying attention. So I thought I'd run through a few of those. One thing I think when you're getting started is to pay attention to your name and your logo or your branding. Surprisingly large number of business names have been taken. So picking your name is an important step along with any type of logo you might use. So you want to do some research for what you've come up with, what you're looking at to see if it already exists or something similar exists that would prevent you from protecting it, maybe from a trademark standpoint or getting it registered with the USPTO, something along those lines. I think it's important to get your contracts in order. That means internally and externally. Externally, you're working with vendors, clients, customers. Internally, you might be working with independent contractors, employees, interns. It's always important to have contracts for all your relationships. Go a long way in preventing disputes that might pop up. Another important thing is to make sure you're keeping the proper documentation in place for your company. And so what I mean by that is you've got some formal entity such as an LLC or a corporation. Have you structured everything internally the way you need to with your operating agreement or with your bylaws? Are you holding meetings like you're supposed to? Have you named officers, directors? Whatever the case may be for your specific company, you need to make sure you're keeping those formalities in check so that you can limit your liability going forward. I think another really important thing to pay attention to for businesses of all sizes is understand what your intellectual property is, when you create it, and how to protect it. So every business has some form of intellectual property, whether that be a trademark, copyright, trade secrets, patents, what have you. You need to understand when you've created an intellectual piece of intellectual property. Then you need to understand how to take the steps to protect it. Intellectual property can be an extremely valuable asset for businesses, so you don't want to overlook that or neglect it. Can also create additional revenue streams as you come up with different sorts of let's say documentation or classes, training, depending on what your business is. You could really take advantage of intellectual property, so it's important to stay on top of that. Those are a few tips that you can stay on top of as you start and run your business.